Ezekiel Elliott's holdout has been the biggest story out of Cowboys camp, but let's not forget about the other star looking for a big payday. Unlike Zeke, Dak Prescott reported to camp despite entering the final year of his rookie deal. One NFL coach told The Athletic that he feels bad for the Cowboys because, quote, if they pay him $30 million a year or whatever, the expectation becomes so high, and I don't think it makes you a better player. Another exec compared it to the Redskins situation with Kirk Cousins when they ultimately let him walk away. So, Shannon, here is the million-dollar question. What is Dak worth?
What I've been telling Skip all along, he was going to get $30 million plus. He was never going to accept anything less than that because the going rate is for a quarterback, it seems to be $30 million plus. Skip liked to heap all these accolades. He won Rookie of the Year. He had the highest completion percentage in his first 3 years. He beat Walker to him twice. He beat Russell Wilson. He's won the division twice. I just want you to know, and Jerry Jones to understand all those accolades, cha-ching, 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 because he saw what Walker to him got. Carson Wentz got X. He's like, I beat him twice, and I done won the division twice, and I won a playoff game. That's the going rate. You got to pay for that, Skip Bayless. I know you, and I told you that. Even though Stephen Jones is trying to poison the field by telling, well, if Dak don't give us a hometown discount, he don't care about winning. Poppycock. You know that's not true, Skip Bayless. The Cowboys are in a situation they really don't have a choice. This is not a dilemma, too equally perplexing situation, Jenny. You rather get hit by a Mack truck or a dump truck. It doesn't matter. You're equally as done if they're traveling at 50 miles an hour.
Stark comparison.
Yeah, exactly. So what do, Skip? Like, Skip, I love this what Skip will say. When I say Skip, they can't play Blake Bortles. Well, what do you want them to do, Shannon? Skip, what do you want them to do? They got to pay you. It's going to cost you $100 million. The expectations are already there. They're the Dallas Cowboys. You said, and everybody says, this is a Super Bowl caliber team with the talent that they have. They've done a great job. So now you have to pay him. The biggest misconception that people have is that the more money you make, the better you are. And that's not true. Just because you pay Dak top 5 money doesn't make him a top 5 quarterback. It just means that, hey, he came up and this is the going rate. Do I look at him as a Brady, Rodgers, Drew Brees, Big Ben, my homeboy? Absolutely not. But that doesn't matter. His contract happens to be up. He plays the most valuable position, and that's what he's going to get. He's going to put you in a bind, and I love it.
Yep. So, Jerry Jones has the greatest set of problems in the entire NFL. How to pay all of his rising stars.
Can't do it.
Who wouldn't want this problem? Everybody wants the problem that Jerry has.
Until they're
but
faced
you
with it.
describe it as, do you want to get hit by a Mack truck or a dump truck, Jerry?
Yep.
Like he's going to get crushed one way or the other.
Damned if you do,
really?
damned if you don't.
Okay. So, I'm going to go to the bottom of this Mike Sando, The Athletic article, to a passage about your quarterback in Minnesota now named Kirk Cousins. The guy you raved about him.
First Cousins?
First Cousins. We went for 2 years on this show with you saying First Cousins, and I'm saying I don't want to be related to that guy. How many times did I tell you Kirk Cousins is overrated? I told you again and again and again and again, and I was proven right. So, Mike Sando writes, the Washington Redskins faced a somewhat similar quarterback dilemma in recent years.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with this dilemma, but here's the quote from an executive, anonymous quote. People crushed the Redskins for the way they handled Kirk Cousins, and now people think Kirk Cousins is no good and you should never pay him. Who told you that first? Who had the guts to go to the end of the limb and say, overrated, and the day he signed with your team,
I remember.
The most overpaid quarterback in the history of football, I called Kirk Cousins, and I was proven right so far. Do not compare that situation with my quarterback situation because I told you Kirk Cousins against my team went 1-6 against his arch rival. The one game he won was against my new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and a really bad Cowboy team. That's the only one out of 1-6. Dak Prescott beat Kirk Cousins all 4 times, 4-0. Kirk Cousins wound up in Washington 26-30-1. He was 4 games under 500. The Redskins was we won't commit. And finally, your team committed for $28 guaranteed million a year.
84 million.
Right?
Fully
84
guaranteed.
million fully guaranteed. My quarterback is now 32-16. Is that good? That's pretty good. That's twice 500, right?
Okay, yep.
So Kirk went 26-30-1, and my quarterback is 32-16 in his first 3 games, first 3 years. Okay, I'm here to tell you I will disqualify myself because I believe I have now done my quarterback more harm than good. Because you know what happens on this show? Every time I dig in on a player, much of the sports world will dig in against me and root against the player that I believe in and defend, or overly defend on this show because I have to fight you, right?
Yep.
Because you are so wrong-headed about my quarterback. So I will be the first to tell you that I've probably done a disservice to Dak Prescott, because the more I rave about him and defend him, the harder it probably is for him out in the sports media.
Well, all you doing is driving up the price. But let me ask you this.
I'm not even close to being finished yet. So what did I tell you from day one on this show? And I'm talking about September 6th of 2016 when we launched here on Fox Sports 1. What did I tell you the first day?
He gonna be all right.
I said, Shannon, I'm watching a 4th-round rookie quarterback for my Cowboys in the preseason, and I told you, quote unquote, I have never seen a rookie quarterback exhibit more poise than Dak Prescott did through his playoff games at the Rams, at Seattle. Do you remember when I said that?
He did.
And did he not ever back me up?
He did.
He should have won the season QBR as a rookie. He had what I called, and you can try to argue with this, but I don't think you can. No. He had the greatest rookie quarterback season ever played, beyond RG3's that year with Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan in Washington. It was a little beyond that. RG3 was really good. Dak won the division, and he capped it off by throwing for 300+ and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception against Aaron Rodgers, and he had beaten Aaron, obviously, at Lambeau, and he barely lost that game thanks to Mason Crossbar. But again, he played very well in that playoff game.
Okay.
He played great in that, especially for a rookie starter. And then, do I have to remind you of what continued to happen? But everybody hangs on. See, again, to me, this amazes and it angers me like no other topic we do on this show, because Dak gets no credit from you whatsoever.
I give him credit.
You give him a little bit. Yeah. He has become the most underrated, underappreciated quarterback in the league, and it's not even close. And everybody fixated on what happened for those 6 no Zeke games in 2017.
Okay.
What happened?
What happened?
Game number 1 with no Zeke was at Atlanta, and there was no Ty Smith at left tackle. And help me out, what happened to my quarterback? The blind side sacks he suffered, 8 of them. 8 times he went down in that game.
Get rid of the ball quicker.
Okay, yeah, get rid of the bag. Okay, great. And it was hellacious hard on him. And guess what? His defense over those 6 games gave up the 23rd worst yards in the league.
But you never used that argument for Aaron Rodgers. What is defense?
Okay, I don't care. We're talking about a young quarterback in his 2nd year. That was his sophomore campaign. And what was going on with Des Bryant at that point, according to the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, Des Bryant was a broken down shell of himself who had absolutely no rapport with my quarterback. So my quarterback, let's get this straight. He had no blindside protection. He had no #1 receiver who could even beat single coverage. Am I right? That's what you told me, right?
Des was struggling.
Couldn't beat single coverage, and his defense couldn't stop anybody. So did they struggle for 6 games? You better believe they struggled. Did my quarterback bounce back last year and win the division yet again? Did he beat Carson Wentz twice? Did he throw for 331 yards just in the 2 fourth quarters and overtime against the Eagles? Yeah, 24 of 28, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had another hellacious great year, but nobody gives him any credit. How can you pay this man? And the conclusion from one of the salary cap experts here in the Athletic article is, if you pay Dak what you're talking about, the $30 million, he'll never be able to live up to it because it'll be too much pressure on him. Baloney! Watch him live up to it. It's hard to play that position in Dallas, Texas. Yeah. It might be the hardest position to play in the NFL, is the scrutiny the Cowboy quarterback gets because of what happened with Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman, and even to a certain degree, Tony Romo. Sure. He has lived up. He will continue to live up to it. You pay the man his money, as you say in Rounders, and you go forward, because Do you question his leadership?
No.
I give him an A+ in leadership. He is the face of that franchise. Do you question his durability? I give him an A+. How can you give him an A+? He hasn't missed a single game.
Right.
All he did was, as you say, no quarterback has ever completed a higher percentage of passes in his first 3 years than this guy.
Right.
Nobody has more game-winning drives over the last 3 years than this guy. Yet he gets little to no credit from you or really anybody else, and maybe that's my fault.
Well, I give him credit. I give him like $550 credit, which is not very good. You probably have to get a co-signer, Jenny. You're going to put a lot of money down. He ain't got that old.
Sound like you speak from
He
experience.
ain't got that 850 credit like O'Shea. I got 850 credit.
Do you?
Yeah,
Really?
top of the line, man.
Sure
Credit.
about that?
Okay.
850. Skip. But let me ask you a question. And the comparison that you used was Kirk Cousins. Are you saying the Cowboys should bet against Dak like Washington bet against Kirk Cousins? Because they kept franchising him saying, but little do you know, Skip, if you bet against the guy.
See, they were saying we're damned if we do or don't.
Yeah.
Damned if we do, damned if we don't.
But by betting against,
They were actually correct in the way they played it.
But by betting against Kirk Cousins, you do realize if he fails, you don't succeed. Okay, you're like, well, we proved our point. But guess what? You still pick it in the top 5 to top 10. So you do yourself a disservice by betting against him. But I want to ask you one thing.
Interesting.
If Dak was what you thought he was, if he was what Steven and Jerry Jones thought he was, why doesn't he have a contract? Why is he in the last year of his
They're
contract?
working on it.
What working on?
When a bet gets done before the
Philly
first
ain't working on it. The Seahawks ain't working on it.
Timing.
Look at all these guys that done got these contracts with years. Aaron Rodgers got a contract with 2 years left.
Who has managed their cap the best in the NFL to me? Jerry Jones.
And what have they got to show for it, Skip? You manage your cap really well. Where's the Super Bowl? I'm looking for Super Bowl rings.
Well, he's got 3 of them.
No. A lot of that was pre-cap. Don't do that, Skip Bayless.
That's interesting, too.
Okay.
A quarter century.
Okay, I don't defend him as a GM as far as picking players, although Will McClay has taken up the slack.
Hit it out the park. He hit it out the park.
Okay, so it's time to pay these players as they arrive. And listen, I'll use the old Arkansas phrase, Jerry Jones is whip smart. Stephen Jones is whip smart. They're working on the Dak deal because he's the biggest domino and the first that has to fall. Then you can step back and say, aha, what do we have left on our cap?
Skip.
They're working on Byron Jones. They're figuring this out.
Skip,
It's okay. We got this.
I hate being a harbinger. Messenger. Skip, you think I like delivering this kind of news to you? Well, you're about to give a middle-of-the-pack quarterback $30+ million. That's what's about to happen. I don't care if you pay him $50 million. It's not going to make him a top 5 or top 10 quarterback, Skip. He is what he is. He's durable.
He will earn every cent of it. Every last cent of it. He will give you multiple chances to win multiple Super Bowls.
No. I don't need multiple chances. I need multiple for that kind of money.
Yeah.
I need multiple Lombardis.
Although what you say is that kind of money is now going rate.
That's the going rate.
Right? Okay.
But
so don't tell me that kind of money. That's just average money now.
But here's the thing, Skip. When you start seeing Dak Prescott makes what Aaron Rodgers makes, or he makes what Russell Wilson makes, those guys have won Super Bowls.
Okay.
Okay, so we just see a guy that hasn't won a Super Bowl make that kind of money. And like you said, okay, they paid Carson Wentz. I'm like, okay, wow, that's a lot of money.
Okay, somebody in this article suggested give him 15 to 18 million, and if he balks, trade him. They are not going to trade Dak Prescott. I would fall out of this chair. I would walk off the set. I would hold out off this show. I would hold out if they traded Dak Prescott.
Why?
Because he is Brady-esque. Nobody's Tom Brady, but he can win you lots of games and Super Bowls.
You do realize if they were to pay him $15, $18 million, they're basically saying he's Blake Bortles.
Okay.
Because that's what Jacksonville gave Blake
That's
Bortles.
interesting.
And trade him and watch him win a Super Bowl someplace else. Yeah.
Skip, you can't be afraid of that. You can't run a business being afraid that if you fire a worker that he might go somewhere else and develop a patent that hits it out of the park. That's not how you can operate.
No, you promote that worker to president.
Skip,
right?
You don't know. So what, okay, you keep him, you pay him $30 million, and he doesn't deliver the goods like you think he can. Then what?
I'm dug in. I told you.
I know that's the problem. You always dug in.
I believe from the start. I haven't wavered 1 ounce. Not 1 ounce. I'm sorry. I just sit over every day digging deeper in.
What's your astrological sign? Are you a Taurus?
No, I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm going to have to look that up in the next break.
What?
What does that mean?
Fire. Fire.
You got
You got fire
fire
right in your
today.
face.
You got some Taurus in you because you're stubborn.